Roguelikes. To me, a genre that has in the past felt very templated, right? I feel like roguelikes is one of those genres that a lot of the games feel somewhat similar, if not exactly the same. Jesus Christ, I started this on not a great note. Now that the average retention for this video has dropped to like 10 seconds because all roguelike enjoyers have just like left the stream or video or what the fuck. Let's talk about the game and the brand new playtest, Sworn. Yes, it's S-W-O-R-N. Sworn. I could have sworn this was a playtest because honestly, a lot of parts of it feel like almost a full-fledged game. The only limitation being that you get to a certain point, aka beating the first dungeon in its entirety, and then it stops. Other than that, it feels like I've got everything. But slow down. You've put the moves on too early, all right? I've tried to move too quick in this relationship of this video. So let me roll it back for just a second. What I've done is I've broken the ice too early. I've leaned in to the side of your ear and I've just whispered, I unironically like ARAM. It's all over from there. Sworn is a roguelike, multiplayer, co-op dungeon diver. Not that I really have any friends to play the co-op mode for, but you can play co-op in this. And there's 4 classes to play, so you can do different comms for different weapons, different powers. But there I go again, getting ahead of myself. Like many roguelikes, you go from room to room fighting... Oh my god. Slashing, smashing, shooting, spelling to get to the end of the dungeon is the goal. That's always the goal, right? Well, picking up random power-ups or picking up random, you know, monies or improvements or buffs. I don't know why I did an accent there. Also, you can get to the very end of the game where your delectable little rump gets goddamn pub stomped by the boss. That's you though. Honestly, my shelf, it looks like the Costco muffin shelf, you know, before it's completely ransacked by a 300-pound dude on a rascal. You know what I mean? Like, your boy is caked up. The story, the round table has gone insane. Your job is to work with Merlin and various other historical peoples with one of the 4 heroes to go and take back Camelot from Arthur and the Round Table. Why am I talking like this? I mean, that's ultimately the premise, right? The game's still in playtest, so that's more or less what you're doing. I mean, that should be enough to just like lock you in. You have 4 different characters with 4 different abilities with 4 different weapons, technically allowing you to have a whole myriad of combinations. I was gonna do the maths and then I decided I didn't want to because I didn't want to. I will say that I had sworn off switching characters after I played the Rook with a cannon, because if you find the right configuration and the gods really like enlighten your cannon, Jesus Christ, that's good shit. You have the common archetypes. You have the vigilante, the rook, the specter, the monk. Essentially, it's the rogue, the warrior, the sorcerer, and the priest. That's essentially it. Now, usually a lot of games sort of have like some sort of skill tree, which I suppose this game doesn't really vary too far from that. It technically has a skill tree, but the skill tree is like closer to minor improvements for specific parts of the game. So there is a whole tree for having a better relationship with the gods. Like, you call them once a week, and they appreciate that, right? It's like your parents. And then you have another one, which is money, which is essentially making small investments into like shit coins before, and then you pull out, which is always a good idea, but pull out before those investments go sour. There's also just health, self-explanatory. You know, there's one that allows you to get a double dash, which I would recommend highly that you get a double dash at the start of the game. And then there's another one, and I can't remember. It'll be on the screen, whatever that is. So instead of working on, say, a skill tree for individual characters, you more work towards minor increases in like movement speed and health and money you earn and affinity with gods, more so than like specific skill trees, right? So it just helps your overall run, which I like because it means it doesn't limit you in your characters where you go like, well, I just spent like 3 hours making my rook real good. I want to move on to the monk, but I got to start from like day dot because the monk is kind of ass. It's kind of ass. I don't know what I'm doing here anymore. During your runs, there is a myriad of gods. You know, there's a god of like frost, there's a god of poison, there's a god of luck, there's a god of like fury. I can't remember what fury does. I'm sure somebody will be like, well, and there's a different combinations you can have for these ones. So you could have like a spider that follows you around. You can have a dash that leaves a shadow behind. You know, there's a whole myriad of things that you can do in each run. And the runs are quite quick too. So it's 100% worth it, right? Like to be fair, you could do small runs here and there, especially if you're lacking in time, and do a couple of runs before you go to bed. And then you can make a little bit of progress on your progress tree, and or what now have you. Huh? What say you? What am I saying? I mean, one of the ones is just a shadow. Being spooky works out sometimes. And also throughout all these runs, you're gonna find setup stores, extra things where you wipe a different set of bad boys from a dungeon. There's also a pop-up store with random enhancements for that run alone. You know, there's a whole myriad of things you can do in each one. Like much like a roguelike, you collect stuff for those specific runs. Outside of those runs, you do more broad upgrades to all of your characters outside of buying weapons and outside of buying powers. There's even been able to curse yourself, which has its own benefits. Can't say that I've done it too many times. I mean, if you want to be an accursed wretch, I mean, to be fair, who doesn't want to be an accursed wretch? I might be one right now. Well, that's it. Thank you for checking out the video. I appreciate you. If you've seen any of my other recent videos, give me a heads up. What do you prefer? Do you prefer this type of commentary with like the backdrops and flipping, or do you prefer the green screen so I can kind of put gameplay on behind? I have both now, and I can't decide which one. So if you have a preference, place it in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed the content, subscribe, follow, like, share. I would say turn on notifications, but like they account for like 3% of viewership, so do what you want to do. Fork 'em devils. Fuck, I stole that from Ludwig. All right, I'm done. Bye.